finished setting up. First day started. I have no idea if it's too loud in here, so sorry if the audio doesn't come through. But yeah, the con just started, so let's just see how the first day starts. So we're back at the hotel. It's the first day of Otakuthon. And I'm gonna be honest, well, I guess I should explain some things. First of all, it's my first time at Otakuthon, and I know deep down it's unrealistic to kind of compare a show you've never been to versus one that you've obviously tabled at before, because the audiences are going to be different, and you can't really predict what's going to sell and what isn't at newer shows, even if you have heard experiences from other artists of like what does sell, what doesn't sell, because it varies from every artist. Because A&F Friday is usually from 5 to, I think, 5 to 10, I believe. And obviously Otakuthon is much longer. It's probably like twice as long. I would say I made about the same on both Fridays. So I basically made the same at Aeon for half that time as I did Otakuthon, even though it was twice as long. So that kind of gave me the impression of like, am I doing something wrong? Is my stuff like not appealing to this audience? Maybe it also didn't help the fact that I didn't really eat anything before for most of the day, so that probably contributed to why I was like kind of like in a really crappy mood. So that probably didn't help. But after getting some food in me and hearing some encouragement words from my fellow artists, my friends, and all that kind of really helped me, keep my chin up and just, enjoy the experience for what it is. So just since this is my first time, so obviously I'm not going to get everything right. I'm probably not going to get multiple things right, but, you just gotta, go with the flow, just see, like, what does well, what doesn't, and then you take what you learn and then use that towards your next experience. So let's just see how it is, and we'll go from there. Good morning, Otakuthon Day 2! I'm just going to quickly go through my display because I had to change where some stuff was because some things weren't selling at all. I think it's because my tote bags are a little too low and people are not going to be looking down, they're going to be looking up. So, let's see how it looks now. So this is where I have my tote bags. Now they're on all my panels. I had to remove some prints that weren't my least sellers. I'm willing to sacrifice that just for a chance for my tote bags to sell, because originally they were like hanging down here, but it was getting really, really crowded that I don't think people were looking down and people were just kind of like rushing by, so hopefully that made a difference. So day 2 of Otakuthon is done, yay, sort of. It sucks because like I don't like being a Debbie Downer or like overly negative, because I don't think anyone wants to have a bad attitude or sour mood, because it also affects, the following day and makes you a little bit pessimistic and cynical. But, sometimes you can't help but feel the way that you do, and everyone will say, oh, tomorrow will be better, it's Saturday. Everyone's, probably not at work, they're gonna have more time to go to the car and do stuff. But I made about as much as I did on the Friday, which feels kind of, it's kind of unexpected and surprising, because usually people say that Saturday and Sunday is like usually when people spend money. I think the only people that spend money on a Friday are people who find something that they really, really, really like and are worried that it might sell out. They buy it then. Or it's people who only have the pass for the Friday, who obviously can only buy stuff on the Friday. So the fact that Saturday was, you made just as much as you did on the day where most people probably aren't going to the con feels a little strange to me, but that's just my experience. So obviously it's not universal, it's just something that I've experienced, but I felt kind of, I don't want to say reassured, that's not the word I'm looking for. I think I felt more like I wasn't alone, because apparently other artists were apparently struggling. Apparently some people made a lot less than they did on the Friday. It's just kind of like, whoa, this is kind of weird. What's going on here? So you can't help but ask yourselves and like maybe think about all the factors involved, like, is it just the fact that people in Montreal don't spend as much? Is it because we're in a recession? Like, there's all these different factors as to like why people just aren't spending. And like a lot of artists were also saying that it felt like other artists were kind of hyping up Otakuthon to be this really, really profitable con. Maybe because of previous years, and apparently Otakuthon is becoming one of the most attended cons in Canada, so you kind of, it has that reputation going for it. So you think like, oh, if a lot of people are going to them, people there must be making a lot of money, right? But you know, obviously things are unpredictable. Things aren't always so black and white like that. So to have it so that, you know, turns out that's not how things are. That's not what reality is. It's kind of sucks. But you know what? I can almost like reassure myself that it's not just me, and like of course I'm willing to accept the fact that maybe it's just the stuff that I make, maybe it doesn't resonate with this audience and demographic like that. That's totally something I understand. At the same time, you know, I'm willing to take criticism, like maybe my display could have been better, maybe, you know, just maybe even the placement of where we were wasn't great. You know, you never know. There's a bunch of other factors that are outside of your control, but I mean, you can try to do your best to do the little things, but I mean, even then, it's still hard to predict. I don't really have that high hopes for tomorrow. It is the last day. It's usually when people will often spend a lot because, you know, it's like quote unquote panic buying. It's the last day, right? You know, you never know when you're going to see these artists again, if they're going to be at a show that's going to be near you, right? So, but I don't want to like understate the fact that I'm very, very extremely extraordinarily grateful for all the people that have come out to buy stuff from me, especially those who have either followed me online or even known me from other shows. Like I know that there was quite a few people who came all the way from Ontario to Otakuthon because they've already seen me at Anime North, and they're just like happy and excited to see me at Otakuthon as well, and that was always awesome. And it's also really awesome to see the people who have been following my stuff, who live in Quebec and go to Otakuthon and see me here for the first time, and we're really excited. Like that, those experiences and those moments are something that I don't want to like forget and like, you know, take for granted. And you know, sometimes you just gotta bask in that and just be like, you know what, these experiences are what going to keep me going, and I think that's how it should be at the end. So it's not just about money, but it's also about, you know, appreciating the experience and the learning and the knowledge that you gain from it, right? Let's just end this off by saying let's just get through the last day and let's just, you know, do the best that we can. Literally as I started recording. That being said, here's the final day of Otakuthon weekend. How am I feeling? Oh, that is a hard question. I think it's just a matter of just trying to keep it up the last day. Switching up. I will say that after more conversations were had in the International Artist Alley Discord I'm in, I think the general consensus is that I think everyone, both new and old, haven't been doing great this year. At least for this con, Otakuthon. I guess that's just the way this year is going to be. So it looks like this is just an off year for Otakuthon. It's just kind of unlucky that it's turned out to be my first year. So it doesn't make a very good first impression. But I mean, you can't. It's probably because of things that you can't control, right? Hopefully I have to take a look around. I want to look around now, but a lot of people are still filing in, so people aren't at their tables yet. But hopefully I'll have a chance to look around before the con opens, so before everyone starts filing in, right? But otherwise, yeah, let's just see what Sunday brings us. Also, maybe I should record this just for like, you know, something funny to look back on, especially since I want to improve on the things I've done in at past tabling events, and you know, maybe find a way to better organize my stuff. But yeah, this is basically what my back of the table looks like. So originally I always calculate my stock in a notebook, but I decided to print out the stuff that I have on laminated sheets and just like tick off the things that were bought so I can keep track of it later. But I can also reuse them, so that's why they're laminated. And then as for like, you know, stuff of like how I'm like packaging everything, organizing everything when orders come in. It's not the most organized, but I mean, it works for me. My prints and stuff are like in that suitcase down there. And I got my acrylic stands, and I got my coasters in there. And I got any excess keychains, and then my lanyards are there, and those are extra prints that are there. My sticker book. Honestly, I'm so bad about vlogging. I probably should record more shots of actually me being an artist behind a table, but sometimes I always forget. It's just since it's slower then. A lot of times there's just breaks in me not really doing anything, but usually in the breaks in the meantime I usually just either sometimes what I do is I have my treat bags ready. So basically I put a sticker, my business card, and I put it to the side so that way when the order comes in, you can just grab it from there and just put whatever keychains and whatever stickers that they asked for in that, and then seal it with these like custom label stickers that I made specifically for Otakuthon. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep doing that until the con starts. So we're back home. Otakuthon has finished, and I'm back home now. I already did all my unpacking and stuff like that. So now let's just go over everything that happened. I didn't make a final day vlog right after the con ended, just because there were so many things that were happening by the end of it. Like there was teardown, and then I had to go to a little photo shoot because I was invited to one a bit afterwards. So, and even after I came back to the hotel room, I still had to do a lot of unpacking up since I was going to be the first one in our hotel room that would be leaving first really early in the morning since my parents were coming to pick me up. So yeah, I decided to do it now instead of yesterday, even after coming home, just because, you know, all the unpacking and stuff, I was like running on 2 hours of sleep, so I was not in the headspace to do that. Also, if you notice like weird mouth noises, I'm eating a cough drop right now because my throat's kind of like not well. I mean, that happens. Anytime you're at a convention, you're talking so much, you have all this energy, but then by the time of it, your throat is just like done. So please don't mind the cough drop sounds that are happening in my mouth right now. But I still pretty much remember what happened on that last day. So last day, I was pretty slow in the morning. I find it that Otakuthon in the morning on all the days was very slow. It was like, especially from like the days where it started at 10. 10 was like pretty like uneventful and dead until it was like until like 12 p.m. did things sort of started picking up. But even then, I found out that until like it was like late afternoon did things actually started picking up in terms of like customers and sales and things like that. So like I said, around 11, 12 o'clock, I was just kind of like, you know, doing whatever I can to keep myself busy since I wasn't getting any sales and customers. So I was just doing, you know, little routine things. You might have seen footage of me, you know, pre-packaging some stuff just in case there was an order just to expedite the process. But then what really like cheered me up by a lot, because during that moment I was just kind of like, oh, it's the last day. I want this last day to be over with. I am tired. But then I like my face literally lit up because the people that invited me to the Otakuthon photo shoot came by. So the first thing I see in like my little window was Throné and Partitio approaching. And I was literally like, oh my god, it was great. It really like brightened up my day by so much. And like I was so excited that I was like, ugh. Like, you know, sometimes when you're so excited you don't know what to do yourself, or you're just like your hand is just like you're just like so excited. So like the first thing I did was I grabbed my VR backside and I was just like, this is going here, bye. I'm just gonna go and like chat with these cosplayers for a little bit and then come back whenever. I don't care if I miss some sales. This is all that I care about right now. But I made sure to tell my friend, be like, okay, I'm gonna be away for like maybe like 10 minutes. I don't think it's gonna take that long, especially since we're gonna do something after, so it's like whatever. And then we did that. So we went to like the side. There was I'll link to their socials and everything in the description and all that. But yeah, there was basically Partitio, Throné, Agnia that I met up with. Oh, and they were like just such like cool and like kind people. Especially with me, like I am not a cosplayer. I haven't like this is like out of my depth. So like I'm kind of like a deer headlights when it comes to things that I've never really done before. I don't know anything about like how to pose for pictures or anything like that. I am not confident in my looks in my day-to-day either way, so there's no way I'm going to be confident when it comes to cosplay. But you know, they were like super patient and like really supportive and encouraging, and they were teaching me a lot of things. And yeah, we just basically stood to the side. We were just chatting a bit, just about like, you know, introducing ourselves and things like that. And then someone else did come and recognize us. It was just me being like maybe overly humble, but like the one time I did cosplay was back at Anime North. I cosplayed as her name is escaping me now, but she was the girl in Kyokai no Kanata, or Beyond the Boundary. I think that's the English title for it. My friend was Mirai. I was the black haired girl in that. I want to say Mitsuki, but I feel like that's not the right name. Okay, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And like, not to rag on anyone who, you know, not to make anyone feel bad or anything, or to try to make it seem like I'm trying to fish for any compliments or anything like that. But I find it with that experience, because her design is kind of generic, for lack of a better word. I don't think there was really anything unique about the way she looked. So I don't think I came off as being like, oh yeah, I recognize you as that character. You know what I mean? So I just kind of went into it assuming that people will not recognize the character I'm cosplaying. So it's kind of like what I assumed with Ori. But then no, the person who came to take photos of like all of us in the Otakuthon cosplayers recognized, like, no, I played the whole game. I recognize that you're Ori. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry. I'm just like, I was so awkward. So after we took that picture, we chatted for a little bit more, and then I didn't want to. Well, they didn't want to keep me, and I didn't want to keep them for too long since we had plans afterwards anyway. So I went back to my table. I was very in high spirits, so I was just like, you know what? This is great. That was the interaction that I needed. So whatever happens for the rest of the day is gonna be fine. I can be making no sales from now until the end of the con, and that'd be fine. But then for some reason, around like, I want to say around like 3 o'clock, suddenly I was just getting influxes of like customers, and I was just like, like if you're like an artist and you know what that feels like, of like getting selfish, so you're just kind of like, your body's in like autopilot mode, but it's also kind of like scrambling as well, because you don't want to keep people waiting, especially if you got a lineup. Like it was like, where did these people come from? Where was this energy for like most of the con? And it was just kind of like that. I was just kind of like doing whatever as much as I could and as quickly as I could to get whatever people wanted out as quickly as possible. So, but that was a really nice change, because I was like, you know, at that point I was just kind of like, it's probably gonna be slow for the rest of the day. So I kind of needed that like panic buying energy. And I even had like one more final sale, and like literally at that final minute, there was a person who was really into Octopath Traveler and was doing a stamp rally, and he came by to get the reward ribbon for their badge. And usually with cons, I usually never have like a last minute transaction. It's usually like in the last 30 minutes is basically like making no sales. So I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna slowly pack up just to make tear it down a little bit easier. But yeah, that was pretty much the end of that con day. You know, I really like something that I really like about tabling at cons, especially when it's like over, is like when the announcement comes on that's like, now it's the end of, you know, Otakuthon 2024, and everyone's just like, woo! Everyone's kind of like cheering, all excited, and like, I think that's like the best way you can end off any con, whether or not you did good or bad, because I think that just kind of like, you know, we need that kind of supportive, encouraging energy at the end of a really long and hectic weekend. So teardown was pretty straightforward. I'm pretty used to it by now. I'm trying to think of whether setup or teardown is worse. I think setup is better, just because if you have that extra day to set up, you're kind of riding on that high and excitement of like the incoming weekend. So you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna display my stuff as you know, aesthetically as possible. But by teardown, it's just like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw all this shit in my suitcase. I don't care if it's not organized, it's just gonna go all in there. Cause like, you know, who cares, right? You're gonna be, that's for future you to care about, to go home and organize all that stuff. So yeah, after teardown was finished, we went back, we lugged all of our stuff back to the hotel. I think it was so funny because like, so the path that we decided to go on was a slow incline, but we're out here with like these heavy ass suitcases, and like we literally had to take a few breaks on the way because it was just so tiring, and like, you know, we're exhausted from the con as is, and now we're gonna lug all this shit back to our hotel. So we had to take like 3 like breaks just to like catch our breath. But then even after we made it, I still had plans. So, you know, I was decompressing, resting up, cooling off, until I had to go down to back to the lobby to meet up with the Otakuthon cosplay people. I've never done anything like that before, so it's just kind of like, I'm kind of like almost like reliving that experience in my head and just being like, wow, that was like a really interesting and cool thing I got to experience for the first time. Because I feel like, you know, I've always gone to photo shoots and I've always been the one taking the photos and just being like all excited. So to be someone that was, obviously there wasn't anyone to like just to like tell us what to do and stuff. It was just literally us. But like being able to actually be part of the photo shoot was it was kind of surreal. It was extremely fun. And in a way it kind of made me overcome some of my fears of it, of like just having people taking photos of me, because like I said, I'm not the most confident in how I look. So that really got me to step in my comfort zone a little, which was nice. I will say that the area that we were in the photo shoot was like so pretty. I would say Montreal is like one of the like nicest places to take photos of, just because like most of the buildings tend to be on the older side, and I mean that as a compliment. But obviously the architect is a lot more older and things like that. So it was it was a really good backdrop for the kind of photos that we wanted to take. And I think it also helped that we took it in the evening. So it was a little too dark for there to be a sunset, but because all the lights were like orange, it casted such like a nice like mood lighting and vibe on like the whole thing. So that was like that added to the experience so much. Like I just want to say these guys are like, obviously they've cosplayed so many times before, so they definitely knew what we were doing. And like I was very like happy that the Throné cosplayer Sky, they were really cool about, you know, making sure that I was comfortable, always making sure that to ask to like, hey, in case they needed to like reposition me, because like I don't mind, like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what to do with my hands, I don't know what to do with my body. Like if you have a vision of like how I should be posed for this photo, like feel free to use me as a mannequin. I don't care, it's fine, as long as you don't touch anywhere that's inappropriate. This is just a funny thing that I just thought about. But the fact that Throné or Sky was kind of like coaching me a little bit, the fact that they were dressed up as Throné, I couldn't help but imagine, like, you know what, in a modern AU, Throné would totally be that person who would be so good at teaching someone how to look good, whether that's like a modeling or cosplay. So I just thought that was kind of funny and oddly fitting. But like even like Agnia and like Partitio, they were like so, honestly, so helpful and so like really like easygoing as well. Because the thing I'm worried about sometimes, especially with me, like I know I'm always definitely afraid, well, just like in general, I'm always definitely afraid of making anyone uncomfortable. So I'll always like over explain myself, or just like be sure like, hey, like you're cool with this, right? Just let me know if I'm like making you uncomfortable or anything. So like so even though I was being asked like, hey, do you have any ideas of what cosplay prompts you want to do with Partitio, I was like, I have some ideas, and like they're like so tame they're so tame, but I overthink a lot, and I'm just gonna think, no, they're not gonna be down with it. Like one of the cosplay prompts I wanted to do, though I think in the moment I didn't realize I wanted to do this, but like I think after that I'd be like, oh, that could have been so funny. Like one of the cosplay prompts I wanted to do was like Patricia doing thumbs up and I'm just trying to make a heart, you know that meme. I thought that'd be kind of funny. Another prompt I probably would have wanted to do, though this is like the most self-indulgent idea that I have, but like I don't know if they would have been down with it, but like it's like the most self-indulgent thing I probably would have asked if it was okay to do. Was like, I'm so embarrassed. Was like Partitio, you know, cabin on Ori. Okay, even thinking about it now, I don't know if I would have been able to like do it. Okay, I would be able to do it if I was able to like react like this. If I could just like, you know, just be like, just cause like, I don't know what face I would. I think I would just be so embarrassed. Like, I don't know, I think Ori would totally react that way because that's how I would react. Also, I won't lie, I didn't say it to them, but I'm just gonna say like, after the photo shoot ended and we're on our way back and we're in that elevator, and I got to get a hug from each of them. After leaving the elevator, I felt so not sad. So that's not the word I want to use, because you know there's that phrase of like, you know, don't be sad that it's over or whatever. Be happy that it happened. I kind of had that moment where I was just kind of like, man, that was like so much fun. It was so great being able to like talk to these people and being a part of something that I've never really done before. It just felt so, it felt so validating. It also felt like I was it felt like really accepting. It's like, and being invited to photo shoots in general, it's just kind of like, I don't know if this is my thing. I don't know if I belong, quote unquote, in this kind of environment, but the fact that they welcomed me so readily, they were so patient, they were so supportive, and just making, they were like hyping me up a lot, and that really genuinely hyping me up. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it made me really emotional, and like I can't really come up with a word for it right now, but I'm just gonna say that it made me extraordinarily happy, and it was, I would say it's like a moment in time that I probably will never forget. And I hope I will be able to have those kinds of experiences again, because I do want to do it again. And like I think it'd be even more awesome if we can get other Otakuthon cosplayers and we get like a full group, because I think that would have been like incredible. You know, it's so strange, you know. You might have seen like in the first few clips of, you know, me talking about how I felt after each day. It's kind of weird looking back on it now, because I definitely felt like I had such a negative, almost negative Nancy attitude about it, just because, and like the way it ended, it felt like the event ended on a high note for me. Like getting all those seals in the last 2 hours, being able to experience that photo shoot for the first time, it really felt like the icing on the cake for me. And I think I needed that experience to make the whole event feel a lot more memorable for me. Because I think perhaps, you know, looking back on the things I've said and looking back on like how I acted, I think this might be one of those cases where maybe I was taking the opportunity and the event for granted a little bit, just because it wasn't everything that I expected it to be. And that's partially also my fault. Like I'm willing to accept that maybe, you know, I got a little over my head and maybe I was being a little too overconfident or cocky even. The overall sentiment is that because people were hyping it up so much, both artists and attendees alike, I think that kind of inflated people's expectations. So I know a lot of other artists who were new just like me going to Otakuthon for the first time ended up coming out of it a little disappointed, which makes me feel a little less alone. And I think a sentiment that I think any artist should take away when it comes to tabling at a new event in general is that no matter what people say and, you know, however much experience they have at tabling at these events, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is to always temper your expectations, especially since every artist is different. And, you know, just because an artist is making the X amount of money definitely does not mean you're going to make the same amount of money. That's why for me, I'm not disclosing the amount that I made at the event, because I don't want anyone, both experienced and new, to get any sort of idea or expectations like, okay, so this person made this much, then that makes me, I might be able to make that much. Because it's different. Every artist is different depending on the work that you make. I think that's just going to kill any sort of excitement you're going to have for the event. And you're just going to be looking at, you're just going to have that number constantly in your head, and that's the only thing you're going to focus on. And that's definitely not what you should be focusing on, especially when it comes to convention. Like, yes, you're there to work and you're there to make a profit and money, but at the end of the day, you also need to enjoy the atmosphere as well. Like, you're allowed to like walk around, take photos of cosplayers, go around and talk to other artists. Like, remember, that is also part of the experience. It's not, you're not just behind a table, just, you know, making sales. You also have to be involved if you want to make the most out of it. And that's something that I started to realize a lot more by the end of it. I think for next time I'm going to be a lot less harsh on myself now that I have this experience of being like, okay, now I know what to expect. I'm definitely going to bring half of what I brought, because I definitely overstocked so much, and it's annoying because I always tell myself I'd rather understock than overstock, but guess which one I did? I overstocked by so much. And like, I overstocked so much that it was my first time selling tote bags, and they didn't do so good. I ended up bringing a little too many. But basically what I did was I gifted each of them a Otakuthon Traveler tote bag, just because I wanted to lighten my luggage a little bit. But I wanted to do that anyway as a thank you for inviting me, and just like being so cool and so welcoming and so approachable, and just, you know, just being awesome people in general. So I guess the question now is, would I do Otakuthon again? Yes, definitely. I think I was going into it with the wrong expectations. You don't know what the situation's gonna be. You don't know what things are gonna be like until you're actually there. I'm already beating myself up for being so negative and being a bit of a downer for the first 2 days. That it almost feels like, did I deserve to be able to enjoy that last day so much? So I wanted to be able to actually really appreciate the event next time, because I know there were so many other artists who wanted a table there that didn't, and you know, I want to be able to do the best I can and be able to appreciate and be grateful for the fact that I did get in, because you know, so many other people didn't. But now I know, and I really do believe that for next year. But yeah, I guess another question is, what could I possibly improve for next year besides what I've already said? I think from a more technical aspect, if you want to call it that, I'm probably going to change my display a little bit more, because I know on the first day I had my tote bags where my table runner was. I don't know if that helps. I mean, I did get a few tote bag sales, but that's only because the people who already saw the tote bags from the previous day already knew they were there, just asked like, hey, do you still have them? I'm like, yeah, I still have them. I just put them in a different place. All in all, Otakuthon was a pretty good event, and I'm really glad I got to go to it. Had a slow start, but we ended it off with a bang in my book. So that's something that I'm very, very extraordinarily happy. And hopefully I'll be able to apply to more out-of-city cons next year. Like I already have Otafest on my schedule. Well, not on my schedule, but it's literally on the to-do list of like other cons to apply for. There's that. There's Icon, I think it's called. I was gonna say QuiCon. I'm like, no, I think that's like con in the US. And then maybe try YetiCon. The thing is, I don't really want to try for YetiCon because I hear that that's more of a party con, and I'm definitely not a party person. So I don't know if I would be able to be comfortable in that kind of environment, but I'll look into it a little bit more, maybe ask around, because I know a lot of people who have tabled there before, and it seems like they like it. I don't know if they're party people, or maybe that's just an overreaction. But I just want to thank a lot of my friends who were there for me, like Senna and Tuna, who were basically my roommates, but they're also my artist friends that were tabling there as well. Senna was my table partner, and she was great. She was super supportive and nice, even during the moments when I was just like, I don't think I'm doing well. And she's like, no, you're doing well. Like, even a lot of my friends were like that, especially Tuna as well, back at the hotel. They were like super kind and supportive. I just hope that my appreciation and gratefulness came through, because I know I don't like being that person that complains and sounds like I'm being ungrateful, even though disappointment is something that you can't help but feel. But I just hope that they understand that, you know, I'm very grateful for their support and for their kindness, and for always, you know, keeping my head above water, because I really needed that, and it really helped me get through that weekend. I don't think I would be able to, you know, have such a positive outlook and such a positive mindset about the event without them. And I don't think I would have enjoyed myself as much without them. Yeah, I just want to thank my whole pop and Arvo, who were at the table next to me, for being such troopers, especially since it seems like you guys were like a lot more experienced with tabling as well. And hearing about your experience with Otakuthon, how this year was a little bit slower, it allowed me to have a more informed opinion, and it was very insightful. But just like being able to talk about you know, whatever we can come up with was great, and your company was awesome, and I really enjoyed being able to table next to you guys. I also want to thank my friends Mars and Joe, who were like behind me in like a diagonal. I've known Mars for like quite a few years now. I think I met her the first time maybe, I want to say 2016. I don't know why that's the number coming into my head. But yeah, we've known each other for quite a few years now, and she's been doing this for a very long time. I think the first time I met her, I was just an attendee, and it wasn't until I got into doing tables that I feel like we got to see each other more and being supportive of what we're doing. And she's been such a huge support as well. I've been asking her so many questions about the whole process, because I don't know what I'm doing. She's been at this for so many more years now, and just being able to learn so much from her has been great. Also, she's such a good support system. She's such a trooper. She's really good at always like cheering people on, and she's always so funny to talk to as well. And I really always enjoy her company. Also, want to give a shout out to Christina. She wasn't tabling there, but she was our other roommate in our hotel room. She was the one that was going around asking, making sure that we were fed, making sure that we were all hydrated. She was basically the person she was basically our personal servant for the weekend. But it was very appreciative. It was very nice to be able to have food to look forward to, because we couldn't exactly leave our table for too long, and even if we could only really go down to the convenience store to get like a quick snack. So it was nice to have some actual food to eat, because God knows when you're at cons you're gonna eat like trash. I also want to thank my fellow Stamp Rally folks who were both in the Octopath Stamp Rally and also in the Splatoon Stamp Rally that was in. You guys were awesome to work with. This is my first time doing the Splatoon one. Yams, you were a great organizer. It was great working with you guys so much. I'm so glad it was such a success that we literally ran out of stamp cards and we literally resorted to writing on scrap pieces of paper so other people could participate. Alice, thanks for coming to my table and just like pretending that this was your first time meeting me. You're like, oh my god, you're Carefree Jules. I'm such a big fan of your work. That really brightened my, that just made me laugh. Thank you so much for that. But I'm so sorry I didn't really get a chance to look at your stuff. Dude, I'm pretty sure I wanted one of your Professor Layton stuff. I think I wanted the wooden charm that you have. I keep forgetting to get it. At some point I'm gonna get it, I swear. I also didn't get a chance to visit you, Pindi, much because I think you always had a line. Or every time I try to see you, you've always had a line, so it's kind of difficult to like... I know I could technically go in your artist space and chat you up, because artists are allowed to go in each other's space if they wanted to, but also I didn't want to bother you, especially if you're in the middle of like packing orders and stuff, so... But I wish I could have talked to you more, but it was still great seeing you regardless, and hopefully we'll meet up again for like a celebratory dinner. We can talk more there. I also wanted to thank all the artists that have talked to you as well. Those that maybe I only got to chat with for a little bit, but hopefully we'll see each other at a different event and be able to talk more. Ooh, another person I want to thank. I think your name is Holland. The cosplay group mentioned your name before, but you're one of the few people that I really want to meet because I believe you cosplayed as Oswald in the past, and you were the one who organized like the little meetup last year. And you came by my table as Benedict on Sunday, which is great to see because I literally just finished Triangle Strategy this year, so it was great to see you. It was great to meet you the first time and be able to get the Oswald Thinking Time sticker. But you gave me a magnet version, which was awesome. I already have it on my fridge already. And it was also great to get some of the Triangle Strategy stickers that you made, so that was really cool. And I want to thank you again for stopping by and, you know, buying the tote bag and stuff like that. Because you and only one other person bought a tote bag. And just like one more time, I'm just gonna thank the cosplay group again. Thank you guys so much for that really wonderful and memorable experience. It's one that I'm never gonna forget at all. It's one of those things where it's kind of like I'm gonna look back on it and I'm gonna be like, it's gonna bring a tear to my eye because I'm just gonna be so emotional, be like, you know what? That was so awesome. I need that kind of thing more often. And I really hope we can do it again soon. If there's anyone I missed, I'm so sorry. So let me just say thank you so much if you interact with me, whether you bought something, whether you just, you know, came by to have a chat with me. For my first Otakuthon, I think it was pretty good. Hopefully next year will be even better. And even not, I'm still gonna probably take away a positive experience with it because that's always, you know, you should always find the silver lining in situations, whether it was really good or really bad. There's always something good to say, even if the overall experience might not have been what you expected. So thank you so much for watching this ramble of a vlog, and maybe I'll see you in another vlog. Maybe I'll vlog me at Toronto Game Expo. I've never literally been there before. It's a smaller event. I don't know what to expect. Maybe I'll vlog my experience there. Maybe I'll actually take more vlog footage at that event. But we'll see. But whether you're an attendee, whether you're an artist, maybe I'll see you at another event. And if so, can't wait to see you. Bye! I realized after I finished recording, but if you want to see those cosplay photos, they're already posted on both my Twitter and Tumblr, so I'll leave the link below. Bye!